We know how much you guys love the Roth Transition Tour with all its tech and the odd bodge. Well, this year there was so much, we are back with part 3. So join me on my wander through another paddock full of interesting age group bikes. We love crazy colours here at GTN, and sometimes it's quite hard to spot amongst all these beautiful coloured bikes, but this one stood out. And it doesn't end at the frame or the forks, it goes through to the base bars, even the aero bars, and the helmet, all with this crazy colourway pattern. Oh, and the wheels, of course. Yeah, that is a lot of effort and attention to detail. Your journey, upgraded. Right, this is a usual aero hydration bottle, but a little confused because it's upside down. It confused me. I had to look closer. And then I realised there's a few things else that are wrong. The bottom has been cut off and so has the top. And it's actually been converted into what I imagine is some sort of storage. So that top is loosely secured, so I imagine that they can get into whatever might be in there. I'm presuming something that doesn't need to be easily accessed, such as a spare inner tube and maybe some sort of tools. But definitely a unique option and keeping your tools in a very aerodynamic method. I am not really large. This is just a really small bike. It caught our eye compared to all of its compatriots because it is just a mere size 45. So I often get friends and other girls asking me, like, do you know any brands that make bikes small enough? Looks like Soleil. We've talked about this one on the GTN show in the past. It is the POC Tempor Aero TT helmet, and we mentioned it purely because it's quite a unique looking design. So the airflow in theory goes through here over the top of the head, and it's just unique. I mean, you're going to spot this rider a long way out coming. And looking at it from the back, it actually looks a little bit, has something that reminds me of a Stingray. I'm not sure that's quite what the designers had in mind, but yeah, just one that's interesting to see in real life. No pain, no chocolate. I mean, that is pretty motivating, isn't it? I don't think I need to say much more. Now, I'm all for a bit of recycling, or in this case, maybe you call it upcycling. I'm not entirely certain on my definitions, but this is definitely a hack. So here I spotted a chewing gum box and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Maybe someone wants to kind of refresh their mouth every so often after consuming lots of gels. No, that is not the reason. They have reused this box and they've managed to reshape the chewing gum box to fit into the aero setup here. And inside it are little capsules, which I'm imagining are salt tablets, most probably. But what a great way to be able to easily access them and know how many you've had. And it's going to be a hot day out on the race course, so very wise. We spotted quite a few gravel bikes, surprisingly, amongst the field, which I take my hat off to for anyone riding a bike. I guess it's going to be comfortable. Now, this one has taken it to the next level because they have still got gravel tyres on, massive, chunky, grippy things, which are not going to help with economy out on the road. I mean, the aero bars are going to be doing their bit for the aerodynamics up front, but yeah, the friction and the energy you're going to be losing through these. If for some reason we suddenly have a thunderstorm and it rains, this person will be laughing. However, that is not on the forecast. Just found a custom designed helmet, which I think is designed by the artists that go by the names Joshua and Morrow. And they are saying, go hard to, I presume, mummy, daddy, sister, brother, some very close friend. I don't want to presume too much, but I think some young influence has gone into this helmet design. Hack or bodge, you can decide on this one. There's an interesting improvisation to this lovely Canyon Speedmax CF. Now, is it a fairing? Is it a hydration? Not quite sure, but basically this has been very much handmade. I think they've still got the biro marks where they've marked how to actually attach this system. And then you see this cable here, or this tubing, it actually comes out, goes down through the down tube, comes out into the middle section here, and there's currently just a little end of a valve or end of a camelback. So I imagine they're going to be filling their camelback with probably some nice cold liquid, putting it inside this container that they've built. Whether a lid goes over the top to stop it bouncing out, who knows? Yeah, it looks heavy, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's made of something really light. I don't want to touch their bike, but definitely definitely something different. Okay, we've just found the new Cube Aerium 68, which you will have seen on our channel already, but that's not why I'm here. I mean, partly because the colourway does catch the eye. It is gleaming in the sunshine, this beautiful kind of bronzy gold. But it was this that caught my eye, some very much homemade projects with these aero bars at the front that are totally moulded to fit the rider's arms. It does look like they might have done it themselves, but they've done a pretty good job here. A lot of attention to detail. They've obviously got the bladder coming up through, which they've made the hole for, as well as space for an aero bottle. So instead of going for a normal water bottle, they obviously want to get their elbows even closer together. And there's a final touch, it's very important I need to show you. Just behind the saddle, they've got a little devil duck thing. Maybe that's good luck, who knows? Now, we don't see many Coup bicycles, and I must admit, this is the first one I've ever seen, and it caught my eye because it is quite an unusual design. You do see quite a few bikes designed sort of inspired by this now, with the extra wide forks at the front. They do come up extremely high, but if you see one of these bikes, there is nothing new there. However, you maybe haven't seen this box on top. I'm trying to work out what it is, but it looks like the sort of thing that you would maybe get wet wipes out of. It's like one of those distributors. I mean, at the moment, there seems to be nothing inside, so I'm curious as to what the rider is going to use that for. Maybe it's obvious. Let me know if you know. Well, we just found another custom-made looking aero bar setup. Now, the sticker Smart Pace on the side, we've done a little bit of research. It's a German brand, and this setup here is apparently called the Pace Ship, not Spaceship. I like it. Now, this is quite interesting. So they've got basically the mono bar at the front. However, the shifters are one in front of the other, so you've really got to remember which is which. So I'm intrigued at how they wrap their hands around that, but obviously I presume it's a very comfortable fit. There's also integrated hydration system, which I imagine, I'm not going to touch it because I don't know how this works, and this is obviously an age grouper's bike ready to race. But I imagine this little popper here pulls up and they fill in their hydration through there, and looks like there's a little straw clamp to hold their straw in place. But yeah, something we hadn't seen before. Looks interesting, looks aerodynamic. Yeah, I'd like to see how the actual hands fit around that. We've obviously covered a lot of aerodynamic adaptations and 3D printing. Now, this is slightly on the other end of the scale because we have gels arranged on the base bars here in a sort of wing effect out to either side. I mean, that is getting rid of any aero gains right there. So let's just hope that this rider uses all their gels quite early on and then puts the rest in their pockets, because they'll be saving some serious watts. But whilst I was first attracted by the gels, I then noticed the helmet, and it's really cool. It's covered in signatures and messages, I'm presuming from friends and supporters. So even though they're not obviously going to be able to see those when they're riding, they know that, you know, they're literally on their head.
Okay, so that really is the end of our Roth transition tours. I hope you've had as much fun watching as we did filming. Do let me know what your favourite bike or even piece of tech has been, and feel free to give this video a like.